After 3 years of marriage, my obnoxious mother-in-law finally dropped the pretense, practically throwing a divorce agreement in my face. My beautiful CEO wife, Sophia Miller, sat across from us, radiating an Arctic chill. I thought it was my ticket to freedom, the start of my glorious lazy bum life. Little did I know, she could hear every single thought rattling around in my head. She used my mental commentary to navigate the treacherous waters of corporate warfare, strategically carving a path and absolutely crushing the competition. Until the day she cornered me against a wall, her stunning eyes narrowed. How many more surprises are hiding in that head of yours that I don't know about? Alex Stone, sign it. Take your $10 million and get out of the Millers' lives. My mother-in-law, Brenda Miller, stood with her arms crossed, chin tilted so high it could have pierced the ceiling. She looked at me like I was a piece of dog crap tracked on her expensive Persian rug. On the coffee table in front of me lay the divorce agreement, stark and silent. I glanced at the woman on the sofa beside it. Sophia Miller, my wife, the undisputed top CEO in Sterling City. She was impeccably dressed in a tailored white pantsuit, her long hair swept up to reveal a graceful, swan-like neck. She wasn't looking at me, nor at her agitated mother. Her gaze was fixed on the cold coffee in the mug before her, her exquisite face utterly devoid of emotion. For 3 years, that had been her default expression around me. I got it. 3 years ago, Grandpa Miller was on his deathbed. Some mystic, who knows where they dug him up, claimed the only way to save him was for his granddaughter to marry a man with pure yang energy, a fated match to ward off disaster. And just like that, I, with my supposedly pure yang birth chart, was chosen. With one signed contract, I became the laughingstock of Sterling City, the Miller family's useless live-in husband. Now, with Grandpa Miller's health fully restored, my lucky charm duties were complete. Naturally, it was time to be kicked to the curb. Yes, finally, the day has come. I practically screamed with joy in my head, almost cracking a smile. 3 years. Do you know what I've been through these past 3 years? Staring at that icy face every day, even my food tasted bland. But now, 10 million in the bank, a cozy little place of my own, the rest invested for interest. I'm going to be a total couch potato. The good life. Here I come. I picked up the pen, eager to sign on the dotted line. Sophia, who had been sitting rigidly, like a statue, gripped her coffee cup. Her long, slender fingers trembled almost imperceptibly. She snapped her head up. Her eyes, usually as clear and cold as an autumn lake, now held something beyond their usual icy indifference. Astonishment and a hint of unbelievable. Absurdity? Did she hear that? No. No way. I immediately dismissed the thought. She probably just found my eagerness to agree surprising. After all, a normal deadbeat husband would be wailing, clinging to her leg, begging her not to abandon him. Right? Wait. Just as the tip of my pen was about to touch the paper, Sophia's cool voice sliced through the air. My hand jumped, and the pen skittered across the document, leaving a long black streak. What's the hold-up, lady? Your mom's about to have a heart attack. Can't you see? Just let me sign. I want to go celebrate with some pizza and wings. I grumbled internally. Brenda was agitated too. Sophia, what are you doing? You actually want to spend your life with this good-for-nothing? Sophia ignored her mother, her sharp eyes boring into me as if trying to see straight through my soul. What are you staring at? Keep it up, and you'll regret trying to stop me from my freedom today. I glared back, my eyes reflecting my yearning for 10 million and freedom. Sophia's brow furrowed even deeper. She just heard another voice, a man's voice appearing out of nowhere in her mind. And the content of that voice was, wanting pizza and wings to celebrate the divorce? She subtly observed the man in front of her. Alex Stone, still the same shiftless, ordinary guy, yet his eyes held an unfamiliar urgency. I don't agree to this agreement. Sophia spoke each word distinctly, her voice low but carrying an undeniable authority. Me? Brenda? You gotta be kidding me, lady. You're playing with me? 3 years of marriage, and now you pull this? What do you want? My dashing good looks? My amazing skills in bed? You haven't even tried them out? Oh, I get it. Leo Kingston, that simp, must be pressuring you again, and you're using me as a shield. TSK. Poor woman. Can't beat him in the business world, so you sacrifice your nominal husband. Sophia's pupils constricted. Leo Kingston. A buzzing sensation filled her head, like a sudden clap of thunder. Leo Kingston, the heir to Kingston Industries, had been aggressively targeting her company's stock lately, using underhanded tactics. The board was already grumbling, and a few senior members were even pushing her to step down as CEO. She'd only discussed this with her closest assistant. How could Alex, who spent all day watching TV and playing video games, know about it, and know so much detail? Sophia, you're insane. Leo is 100 times better than this loser. Are you trying to kill me by keeping him around? Here we go, classic mother-in-law playing favorites. Too bad. If your daughter doesn't listen to me, Kingston Industries will tear Miller Corp apart in 3 days. Then, forget about living in luxury. You and your daughter will be saddled with generations of debt, begging on the streets. I silently mourned for them for 3 seconds. Sophia's heart skipped a beat at the thought echoing in my mind. Tear apart, debt, begging on the streets. Those words hit her like a sledgehammer. She took a deep breath, suppressing the turmoil in her heart, and coldly addressed Brenda. Mom, my business isn't yours to control. This agreement is void. Then she picked up my ticket to freedom, the document I was so eager to sign, and tore into tiny pieces right in front of Brenda and me. The shredded paper fluttered down like a desperate snow. I froze. My lazy bum life. Gone? Sophia Miller. I finally couldn't hold back, shouting her name for the first time. What exactly do you want? Sophia looked at my furious face, then remembered the vibrant, mocking thoughts that had just been in her head. A preposterous, yet daring, idea began to form in her mind. She stood up, looking down at me, a subtle, meaningful curve forming on her lips. Nothing. From today on, you are still my husband, Alex Stone. I was forcibly kept by Sophia. Brenda was so enraged, she nearly exploded on the spot, pointing and yelling at me for a good, while before Sophia's icy glare forced her to retreat. The vast living room was left with just Sophia and me. The atmosphere was so awkward you could practically cut it with a knife. What the heck is going on? No divorce? What about my 10 million? What about my lazy bum life? Has this woman, Sophia Miller, completely lost her mind? I sat on the sofa, looking utterly miserable. Sophia sat opposite me, gracefully taking a sip of her cold coffee, as if nothing had happened. But inside, a furious storm raged. She was 100% certain now. She could hear Alex's thoughts. This discovery was even more shocking than Leo Kingston targeting her company's stock, especially since Alex's thoughts mentioned Leo's plan and even predicted Miller Corp's crisis. Fine, I'll stay. Free food and shelter. I guess I can make it work. Still, it's a shame about my pizza and wings. Wait, something's not right. According to the original book's plot, I should have been kicked out by now. Why isn't Sophia playing by the rules? Could it be? Original book's plot? Sophia's hand, holding the cup, tightened again. What original book's plot did? You know something she didn't? Alex. She set down her coffee cup, deciding to probe. What? I replied grumpily. What's your take on Leo Kingston? She asked, seemingly casually. Oh, testing me now, are we? I smirked inwardly. My take? I see him with my eyes, obviously. Just an arrogant idiot who thinks he's hot stuff because his family has a few bucks. This time, he's attacking Miller Corp with some three-wave attack strategy. Sounds intimidating, but it's all smoke and mirrors. First wave, spread negative rumors, drive down stock prices. Second wave, team up with a few minor shareholders to cause trouble on the board, shaking morale. Third wave, wait for the stock to hit rock bottom, then launch a hostile takeover and grab Miller Corp. TSK. He thinks he's so clever, but it's full of holes. Sophia's breathing hitched. What Alex was saying in his head was exactly the predicament she currently faced. He even clearly stated Leo's ultimate goal, a hostile takeover. These business secrets were tightly guarded by Leo's side. She'd only managed to piece together some clues through various channels. How did Alex, a stay-at-home bum, know all this? Holes? What holes? She blurted out, a hint of urgency she hadn't intended creeping into her voice. Oh, she's actually asking? Trying to get free advice? No way, want to know? Beg me. Call me honey, and maybe, just maybe, if I'm in a good mood, I'll tell you. I crossed my legs and settled into a more comfortable position on the sofa, looking like a smug jerk who wouldn't tell even if begged. Sophia's face darkened. She, Sophia Miller, CEO of Miller Corp., the goddess in countless men's hearts in Sterling City, was supposed to beg a useless, live-in husband and call him, "Honey, dream on." But the company was on the brink, and those old foxes on the board were circling. If Alex really had a solution, between her pride and the company, she hesitated for precisely zero point 0.1 seconds. She took a deep breath, as if making a monumental decision, and when she looked at me again, her eyes were calm. Honey. She couldn't bring herself to say the full word, the sound barely a whisper, a faint blush creeping up her cheeks. I was resting my eyes and didn't hear a thing. If she doesn't want to say it, fine. It's not my company going bankrupt anyway. Maybe if Kingston Industries takes over, that Leo guy will be happy and give me a bigger severance package. Then I'll have 2 payouts, buy a beachfront villa, and throw bikini parties every day. The image in my mind grew more and more appealing. Sophia's expression, however, grew colder and colder. This jerk, the company was about to go under, and he was dreaming about bikini parties? And he wanted to take Leo Kingston's money. A nameless fury surged within her. She slammed the file she was holding onto the table with a crack, the loud noise startling me. "Open your eyes and look," she pointed at the file, her voice cutting and cold. I sat up, bewildered, and picked up the file. It was Miller Corp's stock chart, a bleak, dying lawn of green. Whoa, that's a brutal drop. Even faster than I expected. Looks like Leo really went all in this time. "Since you know the weakness, speak up," Sophia commanded, her tone brooking no refusal. This woman, playing the bossy CEO card with me now. All right. Since you haven't kicked me out yet, I'll give you a couple of pointers. Leo's 3-wave attack relies on speed. He wants to crush market confidence with a lightning strike. So, to counter him, you only need one word, delay. He spreads negative rumors. You hold a press conference, announce that the company has major positive news about to drop. Don't say what it is, just dangle it. That'll stabilize the stock somewhat. He rallies minor shareholders. You unveil a new, more profitable project to divert the attention of those fair-weather friends. Just hold out for 3 days, and his funds used to attack the stock will dry up. Then, you won't even need to lift a finger. He'll implode on his own. The voice in my head was clear, calm, and logically sound, like a masterful general. Sophia was deeply shaken. Such a simple solution, and not one of her highly paid strategists had thought of it. They'd only focused on how to counterattack, how to hedge, but no one had considered that a mere delay tactic could make Leo defeat himself. This man, she looked at me again, her eyes incredibly complex. Was he really just that useless bum who only knew how to eat and play, or had he been faking it for the past 3 years? But what would he gain by doing that? What specifically do you mean by major positive news and new project? Sophia pressed, hitting the nail on the head. For the major good news, say Miller Corp is about to enter into a strategic partnership with the Rothschild family overseas. That name's big enough, impressive enough, and will give the media plenty to chew on for a while. As for the new project, say you're venturing into the new energy vehicle sector. That concept is red hot right now. Paint a big enough picture, and it'll be enough to send those shareholders into a frenzy. I lazily supplied the answers in my head. Sophia's eyes instantly lit up. That's right, bluff. Paint a rosy picture. Use a vague, promising future to stabilize the precarious present. This was a genius business concept. She immediately picked up her phone and dialed her assistant. "Olivia, prepare a press conference immediately." "Say that." She paused, glanced at me, still picking at my toes, looking utterly unconcerned, and then lowered her voice, repeating my internal strategy word for word. Hanging up the phone, she looked at me, a whirlwind of emotions inside. This husband, whom she had despised for 3 years, seemed like a treasure she had completely misunderstood. Or rather, a Pandora's box. And now, she had opened it herself. Sophia's execution was terrifyingly efficient. In less than half an hour, the breaking news that Miller Corp was about to partner with the Rothschild family and venture into new energy vehicles was plastered across the headlines of major financial media outlets. It caused a massive stir. Miller Corp's stock, which had been plummeting into a bleak, dying lawn of green, immediately stopped falling and began a slow climb back up. Countless investors and institutions were buzzing. Holy crap, Miller Corp is about to take off. Partnering with the Rothschild family? Is that for real? New energy vehicles. That's the future. Sophia Miller is amazing. Quick, buy the dip. If I don't make $100 million on this, I'm quitting. Meanwhile, in Kingston Industries' CEO office. Crash. Leo Kingston kicked over his expensive mahogany desk, his handsome face contorted into a demonic mask. Sophia Miller. That B word. Where did she find the Rothschild family? He roared into the phone at his trader. Mr. Kingston, we were caught completely off guard. Market sentiment is incredibly high right now. If we throw more money in, we're just feeding them ammunition. Useless. All of you are useless. Leo was trembling with rage. Investigate. Dig to hell and back if you have to. Find out about this supposed partnership. I don't believe for a second that Sophia Miller could connect with someone that powerful. I knew none of this. I was lounging on the soft bed, contemplating my shattered, lazy bum dream. Ugh, tough break. The duck almost flew right into my mouth. Sophia Miller, that woman, is getting harder and harder to figure out. But I have to say, watching her follow my lead just now was kind of hot. That tight little face, that hushed voice, like she was in a spy movie. Just as I was lost in thought, the bedroom door opened. Sophia walked in, carrying a cup of warm milk. She had changed out of her sharp business suit into a silk robe, her long hair casually draped around her shoulders. She looked less like a cold CEO and more like a languid homemaker. Under the soft light, her skin seemed to glow, and her delicate collarbones were subtly visible. I couldn't help but stare. Gulp. Gotta admit, this woman is a solid 98. Can't give her more, might make her conceited. Sophia heard my thought, paused in her step, and a flicker of awkwardness crossed her face. She placed the milk on my nightstand, her voice still cool. Drink it. Get some sleep. Whoa, the sun must be rising in the west. Bringing me milk? Is she trying to poison me? I eyed the milk suspiciously. A vein throbbed on Sophia's temple. This jerk. What kind of nonsense is he thinking? Thank you for what you did for the company. She paused, then decided to speak. No matter what, if it hadn't been for Alex today, Miller Corp's situation would have been extremely dangerous. Thank me for what? I didn't do anything. I feigned ignorance. I didn't want her to know I was aware of everything, or how could I keep living my lazy bum life? Yeah, exactly. Deny everything. I absolutely can't let her think I'm some business genius, or else she'll come to me for every little thing at the company. How am I supposed to chill out then? Sophia. She had an intense urge to crack open my skull and see what was inside. He was the one who came up with the idea that saved the company, yet he was acting like he wanted nothing to do with it. Did he really want to be a complete waste of space? Whether you admit it or not, I owe you for this. Sophia gave me a deep look. Don't worry. As long as I'm CEO of Miller Corp, no one will kick you out of this house. Ooh, is this my get-out-of-jail-free card? All right, this isn't a bad deal at all. I traded a vague idea for a long-term meal ticket. Solid. I was ecstatic inside, but my face remained impassive. I even yawned, giving her a "you're annoying, I want to sleep" look. Sophia was thoroughly annoyed by my uncooperative attitude, but couldn't lash out. She realized that ever since she could hear my thoughts, her vaunted composure and self-control were crumbling at a visible rate. You, get some rest. She left those words hanging, turned, and walked away, a hint of frustration in her retreating figure. Watching her leave, I picked up the milk and chugged it. Sweet. No poison. That night, I slept exceptionally soundly. Sophia, however, suffered from insomnia. She lay in her room, my internal thoughts replaying in her mind. Original book's plot. Full of holes. Call me honey. 98 can't give her more. Each sentence was like a tiny hook, scratching at her heart. Alex Stone, who are you really? How many more secrets are you hiding? The next morning, I was still frolicking with bikini-clad beauties in my dreams when I was jolted awake by a frantic phone call. It was Brenda calling Sophia. Sophia put it on speaker, and Brenda's shrill, piercing voice instantly filled the room. Sophia, quick, check the news. That jerk Leo Kingston, he exposed your bluff. I shot up, instantly wide awake. Holy crap, the plot changed again. In the book, Leo wasn't supposed to react this quickly. He was supposed to be fooled by the Rothschild name for at least 3 days. Did my presence cause a butterfly effect? Sophia's face instantly darkened. She snatched my phone and clicked on the financial news. The headline, bold and prominent, screamed, "Shocking fraud. Miller Corp's CEO fabricated overseas partnership to save company, suspected of market manipulation." Below it was an audio recording. Sophia's conversation with her assistant, Olivia, from yesterday. Olivia had been flipped. "It's over. It's all over." Brenda's voice was tearful over the phone. "Sophia, we have to run. If we don't, we'll go to jail." Sophia swayed, her face ashen. She hadn't expected Leo's counterattack to be so swift, so deadly. Market manipulation was a serious crime. If proven, forget the company. She'd be locked up. TSK bit off more than she could chew, didn't she? I lay in bed, gloating. "I told you that Leo guy was sneaky. I told you to delay, but you had to go and make such a big show of it. Now you've given him leverage. But this isn't unsalvageable." Sophia heard the last sentence, and like a drowning person grasping at a lifeline, she spun around to face me. "You have a plan?" "What plan do I have? I'm not a god." I rolled my eyes, returning to my playing dead position. "Just kidding, of course I have a plan. And it'll make that Leo guy lose big time. But this time, I can't give it away for free." The gears in my mind were whirring, calculating furiously. Sophia glared at my unperturbed expression, her teeth gritted. What time was it? And he was still playing games. "Alex." She marched to the bed and yanked off my blanket. "Are you going to tell me or not?" The silk blanket slid off, instantly exposing my toned, muscular torso. Despite 3 years of being a couch potato, this physique was something I'd earned through hardcore workouts before my transmigration. Sophia's gaze swept over my abs, and her cheeks flushed instantly. Her eyes darted away. "Oh, blushing now, are we? My charm has conquered her, hasn't it?" I proudly puffed out my chest. Sophia heard my shameless thoughts, mortified and infuriated. She wanted to crawl into a hole and disappear. She forced her eyes away, but her voice unconsciously softened a little. You should put some clothes on first." "Nope," I whined playfully, "unless you agree to a condition." "What condition?" Sophia frowned. "Agree first, then I'll tell you." "Haha, my condition is simple. Once this is all over, the divorce agreement is still on, and I get my 10 million, not a cent less. Plus a swanky penthouse downtown. Not too much to ask, right?" Sophia froze when she heard my condition. She'd expected me to ask for the moon, company shares, or even more money. But he only wanted to leave, always. And a penthouse. For some reason, an inexplicable sense of loss and irritation welled up inside her. "Fine, I agree." She practically gritted out the words. "You said it. No backing out." I immediately sprang out of bed, terrified she'd change her mind. Plan successful. 10 million in a penthouse. My lazy bum life. Here I come again. I thought excitedly, completely oblivious to Sophia's increasingly dark expression. "Now can you tell me?" she asked coldly. "Of course, my dear wife." My mood was excellent. I gave her a rare, cheerful smile. Sophia's heart skipped a beat at my dear wife, but the frost on her face deepened. Calling me wife now, but just wants to run off with the money. Men, they're all the same. She silently cursed, yet couldn't help but perk her ears, listening for my brilliant plan. "It's simple." I walked to the window, watching the frantic reporters gather downstairs, a cold smirk playing on my lips. "Leo Kingston claims we fabricated the partnership, and his evidence is Olivia's recording, right?" Sophia nodded. "What if the Rothschild family actually sent someone?" Sophia's eyes widened. "You mean exactly what you're thinking. Find someone to impersonate a representative from the Rothschild family. Leo claims we faked it? Then we'll make the fake real. He released the recording? We'll say it was a smoke screen we deliberately released to prevent commercial secrets from leaking. Olivia was a double agent we planted in Leo's camp, playing him at his own game. Sophia was utterly stunned by my strategy. Make the fake real? Call a traitor a spy. This was turning black into white, calling a deer a horse. But she had to admit this move. It was brilliant. But where would we find someone to impersonate them? And someone who could fool Leo in the media? Sophia raised the most crucial question. That's even easier. I remember there's a foreign exchange student at Sterling City University named David. He's British, his family went bankrupt, and he's working odd jobs to pay for tuition. The guy's tall, big, blonde, blue-eyed with a natural aristocratic air. A little polishing, and who would know the difference? Give him $1 million, and he'd impersonate a British prince, let alone a Rothschild. I mentally reviewed the plan. Perfect. Sophia, after hearing it all, didn't know what expression to wear. This man, how many crazy ideas were packed in his head? He even knew about a foreign exchange student deep in debt. What had he been doing these past 3 years? All right, we'll do as you say. Sophia made an immediate decision and called to arrange it. An hour later, outside Miller Corp's building at the press conference, facing countless reporters and their cameras, Sophia, in a black gown, was perfectly poised. Regarding Kingston Industries' slander against my company, I have only one response. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the room. Then her red lips parted. Mr. Leo Kingston, you thought you were on the 5th floor. In reality, you were on the 1st floor, and I was waiting for you in the 18th circle of hell. No sooner had she spoken than a stretched Rolls-Royce Phantom, escorted by a dozen black Mercedes, slowly pulled up to the press conference. The car door opened, and a blond man in a perfectly tailored suit, white gloves, and a refined demeanor stepped out, surrounded by bodyguards. He walked directly to Sophia, removed his hat, and bowed in a perfectly aristocratic manner. Good day, beautiful Ms. Miller. I am David Rothschild, sent by my family to discuss further cooperation. The entire crowd fell silent. All the reporters went wild. Shutters clicked incessantly. Leo Kingston sat in his office, watching the live feed, the face on the screen resembling a Hollywood star and a genuinely expensive Rolls-Royce. He spat a mouthful of old blood onto his monitor. No, impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Meanwhile, I was comfortably lounging on the sofa in Sophia's office, watching everything downstairs via monitor. Good acting. Money well spent. Next, it'll be Leo's shareholders causing trouble. He diverted a huge amount of company funds to attack a rival, only to end up boosting them instead. Now, even his dad won't be able to save him. Success comes from preparation. Failure from lack thereof. In this results-driven world, nobody cares about your sweat, only the corpses under your feet. I stretched, as if I could already see Leo's tragic end. Leo's downfall came even faster and more tragically than I expected. The appearance of the Rothschild family representative was like a shot of adrenaline, sending Miller Corp stocks soaring and hitting the daily limit. Kingston Industries, on the other hand, due to hostile attacks, spreading rumors, and the scandal of embezzling funds exposed by internal shareholders, saw its stock plummet. In just half a day, its market value evaporated by nearly $10 billion. Leo's father, Walter Kingston, suffered a heart attack on the spot from rage and was rushed to the hospital. Leo himself was unanimously stripped of all his positions by the board, becoming a pariah. The entire Sterling City business world was rocked by this astonishing turnaround. Sophia Miller's name became a legend overnight. People said CEO Miller was brilliant, planning 1,000 miles ahead, using a dazzling commercial counter-espionage scheme to crush the arrogant Leo Kingston. Only Sophia herself knew that the true director was the man currently sprawled on her office sofa, giggling at a short video. She looked at me, her eyes incredibly complex. This man was like a bottomless whirlpool, making her curious, captivated, and also a little dangerous. Ha ha ha, this dumb video is so funny. Ugh, Leo fell so fast. What a buzzkill. I wanted to watch a few more good shows. What's next? Oh, right. Demand my penthouse and $10 million from Sophia, then retire in glory. Sophia heard my thoughts, and the curve of her lips instantly vanished, replaced by an icy coldness. Divorce again. Money again. Did this man have anything else in his head besides these things? Did she, in his eyes, just exist as a tool to be exchanged for property and cash at any moment? An indescribable anger, mixed with a hint of grievance she hadn't even realized, welled up in her heart. Alex. She walked up to me, looking down. What? I looked up, meeting her eyes that seemed to spit fire. Whoa, those eyes are intense. What? You won the battle and want to share the joy with me. Come on, smile for your man. Smile. Sophia scoffed. Alex, do you actually think your petty little tricks are impressive? I blinked. What's going on? Kicking me to the curb after I helped? No way. Is this woman that petty? I'm warning you, don't think that helping me once means you can do whatever you want. Sophia's voice was chilling. While Leo is down, the Kingston family's roots in Sterling City are still deep. His father, Walter Kingston, is no pushover. You've put me in the spotlight, and the troubles that follow will be endless. Who are you trying to scare? Walter Kingston? Just an old, cunning fox. His son is down, his company is in chaos, and he's in a hospital himself. He doesn't have time to come after us. What he needs to do now is find a scapegoat and stabilize morale. And the best scapegoat is his incompetent son, Leo. I bet within 24 hours, Walter Kingston will contact you himself. Not only will he apologize, he'll even package Leo up and deliver him to you, for you to deal with as you please, all to secure your forgiveness and prevent further retaliation from Miller Corp. It's called sacrificing the pawn to save the king. In the adult world, profit comes first. Deep father-son affection doesn't exist. I analyzed it perfectly in my head. Sophia listened, and the anger in her heart subtly dissipated. It was replaced by a deep sense of powerlessness. She realized that no matter how much she raged or probed, she seemed to always be within this man's calculations. He was like a player with a god's eye view, coldly watching everyone's struggles and performances on the chessboard. Occasionally, when he felt like it, he'd reach out and nudge a piece, changing the entire course of the battle. And she was the most crucial, yet most involuntary, piece in his hand. Ring, ring, ring. Just then, Sophia's private phone rang. It was an unknown number. She glanced at the screen, then at me, her eyes questioning. I raised an eyebrow at her and made a go-ahead gesture. See? Speak of the devil. It's got to be that old fox, Walter Kingston. Sophia took a deep breath, pressed the answer button, and put it on speaker. Hello, is this Ms. Miller? A frail, elderly voice came from the other end. This is Walter Kingston. Sophia's heart leaped. It was actually exactly what Alex had predicted. Mr. Kingston, what can I do for you? Sophia quickly composed herself, her voice returning to its icy tone. No advice, I assure you. Walter Kingston's demeanor was extremely humble. Ms. Miller, my son is incompetent. He offended you. It is my fault for not raising him better. I apologize here. Mr. Kingston, you're too kind. Business is like war. Everyone fights with their own abilities. Ms. Miller, you are too generous. Walter Kingston coughed twice and continued. I have disowned that rebellious son of mine. From this day forward, he has no relation to the Kingston family. Tomorrow, I will have him personally come to your door and beg for your forgiveness. I only ask that you show mercy and allow Kingston Industries to survive. The call ended. The office was dead silent. Sophia stood there blankly, unable to recover. Everything was exactly as Alex had predicted. To the letter. Who exactly was this man? She spun around abruptly, staring intensely at me, asking each word deliberately. You. Who are you really? Me? Alex Stone, of course. I spread my hands, looking utterly innocent. Your husband, the Miller family's live-in son-in-law, an ordinary couch potato. Duh. I obviously can't tell you I'm a transmigrator who knows this world is a book, and you're the tragic heroine destined to lose everything to the villain. If I told you, you'd think I was crazy and send me straight to a mental hospital for dissection and research, wouldn't you? Sophia heard my thoughts and felt like she'd been struck by lightning. Transmigrator, a book, tragic heroine, losing everything. These pieces of information exploded like bombs in her mind, leaving her dizzy and barely able to stand. She leaned against the office desk, her face pale, staring at me with terror and disbelief. This world was a book, and her life was a predetermined script. No, this was too absurd. What are you talking about? Her voice trembled. What am I talking about? I looked bewildered. Wasn't I just watching videos? I shook my phone. On the screen, a man in boxers was doing a viral dance in the snow. Sophia looked at my innocent face, then recalled the world-shattering thoughts she'd just heard, feeling a dizzying sensation. She needed to calm down. She stumbled to the liquor cabinet, poured half a glass of whiskey, and gulped it down. The fiery liquid burned her throat and also cleared her muddled mind slightly. Oh, she's drinking now. Little lush. But it's understandable. Anyone who finds out they're a tragic character in a novel would probably freak out. Sigh, poor woman. So beautiful, amazing body. But the author gave her such a miserable fate. Company seized, fortune swallowed, and then she gets exploited by that animal, Leo Kingston. TSK, TSK. Terrible, just terrible. My thoughts, like a sharp knife, once again stabbed deeply into Sophia's heart. Exploited by Leo, her body trembled uncontrollably. If Alex was telling the truth, her future fate would be far more terrifying than falling into hell. No, she absolutely would not accept such a fate. Sophia abruptly lifted her head, her reddened eyes blazing with an unprecedented fierceness and resolve. Since she could know the plot in advance, she would defy destiny. And this man before her, this soul transmigria, was her greatest and only reliance. Alex, she set down her glass and walked towards me, step by step. Her high heels clicked on the floor, each sound like a tap on my heart. What's up? This vibe is off. Why does she look at me like a hungry wolf looking at a lamb? She hasn't gone crazy from the shock and decided to take advantage of me, has she? No, I'm still a pure, innocent young man. I instinctively hugged myself, shrinking into the corner of the sofa. Sophia stopped in front of me. She leaned down, bracing her hands on the sofa, trapping me completely in her shadow. A mix of whiskey and her unique, cool scent washed over me, making my heart skip a beat. From today on, you are not allowed to leave my side without my permission. I was dumbfounded. No. What about the penthouse and 10 million we agreed on? The house, the car, the money, whatever you want I can give you. Sophia's face slowly drew closer to mine, her warm breath caressing my face, a tingling sensation. But divorce? Don't even think about it. Her beautiful eyes narrowed, glittering with a dangerous yet captivating light. Until I am completely safe, you, Alex Stone, are mine. I stared at her exquisite face, so close, and those eyes filled with possession. My mind went blank. The script seems to have completely broken. Wasn't I supposed to be the lazy live-in husband? How did I suddenly become the dominant CEO's exclusive pet? I ultimately couldn't escape. Sophia was true to her word, directly freezing my bank accounts and confiscating my ID and passport. In her words, it was to protect my personal safety. I didn't believe her for a second. She just didn't want her human cheat code to run off. The next day, Leo Kingston, true to form, was brought by his father, Walter Kingston, to the Miller Court building like a whipped dog. In front of all the media, he knelt on the ground, kowtowing and slapping himself, crying and sniveling, looking utterly pathetic. The once arrogant scion of the Kingston family became the laughingstock of the city overnight. Sophia, after this ordeal, reached the pinnacle of prestige within the company. The old foxes on the board now looked at her with awe and respect. No one dared to question her decisions anymore. All of this was like a perfect replication of the script in my head. But I wasn't happy at all. My personal freedom was completely restricted. Sophia gave me the title of special assistant to the CEO and required me to go to work and leave with her every day. The official reason, close personal protection. In reality, 24-hour, all-angle surveillance. Assistant Stone, please review this document. In the spacious CEO's office, Sophia handed me a file. I lazily took it and glanced over it. The bidding proposal for the city Southland? Ugh, this proposal is garbage. According to the book's plot, this land will eventually be bought at a low price by a crooked businessman named Victor Shaw. He'll then discover a rare earth mine underneath it, increasing its value 100-fold. Miller Corp misses out on this opportunity, leading to a later funding crunch, which Leo Kingston exploits. Sigh, every step is a trap. I sighed internally, lamenting the tragic fate of the heroine. Sophia, listening to my thoughts, felt her eyes light up. Rare earth mine, 100 times the value. Another incredible opportunity. She calmly took back the document and said faintly, "Do you see any problems with it?" "No problems, it's great," I yawned. "If there's nothing else, I'm heading to the break room to slack off." Just let me leave. Don't keep me from chatting up the receptionist. Sophia's lips twitched. At a time like this, he was still thinking about the receptionist. Stop, she called out to me. Now what? I turned back impatiently. You're revising this proposal. Sophia slapped the document back in front of me. Revise it until I'm satisfied. Me? I pointed at my nose. Ma'am, I'm your assistant, not your dad. I'm not obligated to do your work, am I? Making me revise it? What kind of joke is that? I'm a man committed to being a couch potato. Sophia took a deep breath, pulled a black card from her drawer, and placed it on the table. There's $5 million in here, no password. Fix this, and the money is yours. My eyes instantly bulged. $5 million. Holy cow. Sugar mama, I'm hungry. Feed me. Revise it? Absolutely. Forget revising the proposal. You want me to tear Leo Kingston to shreds right now. I'll do it. My face, which had been righteously indignant a second ago, now broke into a fawning smile. No problem, boss. Mission accomplished, guaranteed. I grabbed the document and the black card, trotted over to the sofa, and began my work. My work consisted of mentally rehearsing the complete plan for acquiring that land. First, we can't bid directly, or it'll attract too much attention and Victor Shaw, that old fox, will snatch it. We need to find a reason for the government to rezone this land from commercial to industrial waste disposal. Then no one will compete with us. After that, we register an inconspicuous environmental company as a shell to take over. Once we have it, we announce the discovery of the rare earth mine. Then the stock price. Hee. While I schemed in my head, I doodled stick figures on the paper. Sophia, meanwhile, was diligently listening to my mental teachings, rapidly jotting down every key step in her notebook. One pretended to work diligently. The other pretended to read reports carefully. They collaborated seamlessly. If an outsider had seen this scene, they would have been flabbergasted. Who would have thought that the formidable, ice-cold CEO was making critical decisions by eavesdropping on a useless, live-in husband's thoughts? Boss, I'm done. In less than 10 minutes. I handed Sophia the A4 paper covered in stick figures. Sophia took it, nodding sagely. Good, very insightful. You can have this $5 million. Thank you, boss. You're so generous. You're like a second parent to me, boss. I held the black card, so excited I almost bowed down to her. $5 million. That's how many pizzas and wings? How many bikinis? No, how many school bags for kids in poor areas? I, Alex Stone, am truly a good, conscientious young man. Sophia listened to my incoherent thoughts, both amused and annoyed. This man, with a mind capable of disrupting the entire business world, only wanted to use his talents to fund a lazy life. It was truly baffling, but it was precisely this lack of ambition that gave her a strange sense of reassurance. A man without ambition, at least, wouldn't stab her in the back. There's a charity auction tonight. You're coming with me. Sophia put away the proposal and told me. Huh? Over time, my face instantly fell. Go, and I'll give you another $1 million for spending money. Boss, what time are we leaving? Do you need me to iron your evening gown in advance? The charity auction was held in the ballroom on the top floor of Sterling City's most exclusive 5-star hotel. Everyone there was wealthy and influential, prominent figures in Sterling City's high society. I was dressed in a custom-tailored suit Sophia had prepared for me, looking like a kept man on the arm of a rich woman. TSK, this place. Even the air smells like money. Look at that chandelier, Swarovski, right? Must be millions. And that carpet, hand-knotted Persian, I'm scared to step on it and ruin it. The evils of capitalism, corrupting my pure soul. I grumbled internally while sipping champagne, my eyes darting everywhere. The moment Sophia appeared, she became the center of attention. Tonight, she wore a black backless evening gown, elegant, refined, and subtly deadly. Countless men cast looks of admiration and greed her way. Ms. Miller, long time no see. You look more radiant than ever. A portly middle-aged man approached with a drink, his eyes fixed on Sophia's chest. Here we go, greasy supporting character, Mr. Evans. Real estate mogul, notorious pervert. According to the plot, he's about to make a move on Sophia, and then I, the heroic protector, will step in and put him in his place. Ugh, such a tired plot. Can't we get something fresh? Sophia heard my thoughts, frowned, and subtly stepped back, avoiding Mr. Evans's wandering hand. Mr. Evans, please compose yourself. Her voice was ice-cold. Mr. Evans's hand froze midair, his face somewhat displeased. He usually got away with anything, even sleeping with celebrities, but today Sophia had rebuffed him. His gaze shifted to me, filled with disdain and contempt. And this is Ms. Miller's new bodyguard? Doesn't look very strong. He's my husband, Alex Stone, Sophia introduced coolly. Husband, Mr. Evans paused, then burst into exaggerated laughter. Ha 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 ha. Ms. Miller, you're joking. Everyone knows your live-in husband is a useless gold digger. Why would you bring him to an event like this? His laughter drew many curious glances. Those people looked at me, their eyes filled with ridicule and mockery. So that's the Miller family's live-in husband. He's not bad-looking, but too bad he's a mooch. Yeah, if I were Ms. Miller, I'd have kicked him out long ago. Look at him, so timid. He's an embarrassment to men. The whispers from all directions pricked at my ears like needles. But I maintained a faint smile on my face, as if they weren't talking about me at all. Go ahead and insult me. The more you look down on me now, the sweeter it'll be when I humble you later. It's about perspective, you know? When a bunch of idiots are laughing at you, you're already planning how to wipe that smirk off their faces. Sophia heard my arrogant thoughts, then looked at my serene expression, and suddenly felt a strange sensation. This man, he really was different from others. His inner strength was terrifying. Mr. Evans, Sophia's voice turned cold. It's not your place to judge what kind of person my husband is. Mind your own business, or I won't hesitate to let your Evans Properties stock experience the sensation of freefall. Sophia's words were a clear threat. Mr. Evans's laughter stopped abruptly, and his face instantly turned purple. As arrogant as he was, he wouldn't dare challenge the formidable Sophia Miller head-on now. We'll see about that. He dropped a menacing remark and slinked away. The small commotion died down. Puffed. He backed down that easily. Lame. I pouted, continuing my food hunting tour. The auction soon began. The first few items were famous paintings, antique jewelry, drawing bids from many. Sophia wasn't interested in any of these. She sat quietly until the host presented a seemingly unremarkable rock. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item for auction is a natural meteorite from the Sierra Nevada mountains. Starting bid, $100,000. The rock was dull black and ordinary looking, clearly not worth much. A ripple of boos spread through the crowd. What is this junk? They're auctioning this? $100,000? I wouldn't pay $10. It's here. The real treasure is here. My spirits instantly soared. This is the rock, the heart of the Sierras. In the book, this thing was dismissed as a worthless rock and went unsold. Later, an old Taoist master who knew his stuff snagged it. He discovered it contained immense spiritual energy, a treasure for cultivation. It could cleanse one's meridians and prolong life. This is the real deal, way better than any rare earth mine. Sophia's heart also pounded with my thoughts. Spiritual energy? Cultivation? Cleansing meridians? These words, only found in novels, made her feel like her worldview had been shattered once again. $100,000. Just as everyone was ignoring it and the host awkwardly prepared to announce it unsold, I lazily raised my paddle. Whoosh! All eyes converged on me. Mockery, disdain, stares like I was an idiot. Is that bum crazy? Spending $100,000 on a worthless rock. He's just foolishly rich. No, where did he get the money? It must be Ms. Miller's money. What a spendthrift. How can Ms. Miller be with such a man? Even Sophia looked at me with a questioning gaze. I winked at her, giving her an "it's fine, trust me" look. $110,000. A discordant voice suddenly rang out. It was Mr. Evans. He glared at me defiantly, a mocking smile on his lips. Kid, since you like this worthless rock, your buddy Evans will play along. Oh, look, the villain is back for more punishment. All right, you want to play? I'll play until the end. I raised my paddle again. $200,000. $250,000. Mr. Evans refused to back down. $500,000. I didn't even blink. The crowd gasped. Spending $500,000 on a worthless rock? Everyone thought I was insane. Mister. Evans was stunned too. He hadn't expected me to be so aggressive. He had only wanted to annoy me and make me waste some money. But now, if he bid again and I suddenly stopped, this worthless rock would be stuck with him. What's wrong, Mr. Evans? Can't keep up. I smiled at him. If you don't have the money, don't pretend to be a big shot. You, provoked by me, Mr. Evans's temper flared. Who says I don't have money? 1 million. He yelled out an astronomical price, his face red. The entire room gasped. Sophia's heart was in her throat. She nervously watched me, afraid I'd bid higher. However, I put down my paddle and applauded Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans, amazing. So generous. A mere million is like pocket change for you. This precious rock is all yours. Mr. Evans, the triumph on his face instantly froze. He looked at my radiant smile and suddenly had a bad feeling. Had he been played? Congratulations, Mr. Evans, for winning this unique Sierra Nevada meteorite at the high price of 1 million. The host brought down the hammer. Mr. Evans's face was as green as the grass on his head. He became the laughingstock of the entire event. Everyone stared at him as if he were an idiot, whispering, spending 1 million on a worthless rock. Mr. Evans must have rocks in his head. He got played by that useless Miller family husband. What embarrassment. Mr. Evans was trembling with rage. He glared at me viciously, wishing he could tear me limb from limb with his eyes. But I ignored him, turning to Sophia to take credit. How was that, honey? My playing hard to get tricked? Pretty smooth, right? Not only did I get revenge for you, but I also saved 1 million. Come on, praise me. Sophia looked at my smug, praise-seeking face and couldn't help but crack a small smile. But she quickly composed herself, lowering her voice to ask, that rock, is it really that important? Of course it's important. It's the heart of the Sierras. A cultivation treasure. But it's good that idiot, Mr. Evans bought it. That thing has too much spiritual energy. Ordinary people holding it would only attract trouble. We don't have the power to protect it right now. Later, when we're stronger, it won't be too late to borrow it from Mr. Evans for a while. The gears in my mind clicked and whirred. Sophia listened, then nodded thoughtfully. So, he gave up not out of spite, but from a deeper consideration. This man, seemingly carefree, was in fact meticulously calculating every step, his mind terrifyingly sharp. The auction continued. Soon, another special item was presented. It was an ancient painting depicting a blurry figure from the back, its face unseen, but with a profound artistic essence. This painting is titled Homeward Bound. The artist is unknown, the era is unknown, but according to experts, the paper for this painting is made from ice silkworm silk, a rare material thousands of years old, impervious to fire and water. Starting bid, 500,000. Another wave of murmurs swept through the crowd. What kind of painting is that? Worth 500,000? Ice silkworm silk? They're just making that up, right? It's here. The real big treasure is here. My heart thumped with excitement again. The Homeward Bound scroll. This isn't just any painting. It hides a treasure map. The book says this map leads to the treasure of a former dynasty's prince, who is richer than an empire. It's worth untold riches. And the key to unlock the treasure is in the Miller family estate. This is practically a cheat code custom-made for us. Sophia's heart was once again stirred by a tempest of thoughts from my mind. Treasure map? Prince's treasure? The key in her own house? This was more outlandish than the rare earth mine and the heart of the Sierras combined. She felt like she wasn't at a charity auction, but listening to a fantasy story. But her reason told her that Alex's thoughts had never been wrong. This time, she didn't hesitate for a moment. The instant the host finished speaking, she raised her paddle. 1 million. Her cool voice instantly commanded everyone's attention. Ms. Miller has made a move. It seems this painting really is a treasure. With Sophia's endorsement, the ancient painting, which had been ignored moments before, instantly became a hot commodity. 1,100,000. 1,200,000. 1,500,000. The price soared. I watched anxiously. Ugh, my wife is so straightforward. Bidding directly like that just tells everyone it's a good item. You should learn my trick from before. First downplay, then hype it up, be vague. That's how you get the most for the least. Spending too much, you clueless woman. Sophia heard my complaining, her face flushed, feeling a little wronged. She didn't have as many tricks up her sleeve as I did, but she also reacted quickly. When the price soared to 3 million, she suddenly put down her paddle, feigning hesitation, as if the price was too high and she wanted to give up. Sure enough, her apparent hesitation made the bandwagon bidders start to waver. After all, spending millions for a legendary item whose authenticity was unknown was too risky. The atmosphere in the room momentarily cooled. 3 million, going once. 3 million, going twice. Just as the host was about to bring down the hammer, Mr. Evans's sarcastic voice rang out again. Ms. Miller, why aren't you bidding? Weren't you determined just a moment ago? He had just spent $1 million on the rock and was full of pent-up anger. Seeing Sophia's predicament, he naturally wanted to rub it in. I suggest you don't bother. Don't end up like some people, paying a fortune for junk, he said pointedly. Sophia merely glanced at him coolly, saying nothing. This idiot, come and help again. Honey, ignore him, keep acting. Let him think you're just out of money and trying to hold on. I cheered Sophia on in my mind. Sophia understood, deliberately sighed, and put on a financially strapped expression. Mr. Evans, seeing this, became even more smug. Ms. Miller, if you really like it, why don't you beg me? Maybe if I'm happy, I'll buy it for you. He thought he had Sophia cornered and started to run his mouth. Just then, I suddenly stood up, pointed at Mr. Evans, and said with a righteous indignation on my face, Mr. Evans, don't go too far. A man can be killed, but not insulted. So what if you have a few stinking bucks? It's nothing special. Today, this painting, the Miller family is taking it. I bid $5 million. I excitedly shouted out a price that stunned the entire room. Then, as if all my strength had been drained, I flopped back into my chair, panting heavily. I even turned to Sophia beside me and said, Don't worry, honey, even if it bankrupts us, I'll get it for you. This is my love for you. Sophia. She fought back a smile, cooperatively putting on a touched and distressed expression, even squeezing out a few crystal tears. Honey, our heartfelt performance utterly baffled everyone in the room, especially Mr. Evans. He saw our charging for love stance and completely believed that this painting was just an ordinary one, and Sophia and I were purely having a bidding war out of spite. Lunatics. Both of them. He sneered, no longer bidding. 5 million sold. With the fall of the hammer, the treasure map was ours. I made a triumphant fist pump in my head. Perfect. Use Mr. Evans's 5 million to buy a priceless treasure. I give myself 101 points for this move. An extra point just because I'm awesome. And Sophia, looking at my face that practically screamed, praise me, finally couldn't help but let out a soft laugh. That laugh, like melting ice and blooming flowers, seemed to brighten the entire ballroom. I stared mesmerized. After the auction, Sophia and I became the center of attention, but it was in a foolishly rich kind of way. I never thought Miss Miller, such a shrewd woman, would spend 5 million on a worthless painting for her useless husband. What means to be blinded by love? I've seen it today. The Miller family's live-in husband, enraged for his beautiful wife, splurges 5 million. Tomorrow's headlines are set. Listening to the surrounding chatter, I didn't care at all. In fact, I almost wanted to laugh. Mortals, you simply don't understand the value of this painting. Sophia had also reverted to her Ice Queen CEO persona, ignoring all the gossip. We left the hotel with the painting under the complex gazes of the crowd. Back in the car, Sophia couldn't hold back any longer. She handed me the painting and urged, Quick, where's the treasure map? Why so eager? I grumbled but took the painting. I pretended to examine it for a long time, then pointed to an inconspicuous accessory on the back of the figure's waist. The secret should be here. I reached out and pressed lightly on the accessory. With a soft click, the scroll of the painting popped open to reveal a hidden compartment. Inside, a yellowed parchment scroll lay quietly. Sophia's breathing instantly hitched. She carefully took out the parchment and slowly unfurled it. It showed complex mountains and rivers, and some unreadable symbols, finally pointing to a location marked with cinnabar. This is the treasure map. Sophia's voice trembled. What else would it be? I raised an eyebrow smugly. Now, do you believe me? Sophia didn't answer, just looked at me with an incredibly complex gaze. A mix of shock, curiosity, scrutiny, and a hint of dependence she hadn't even realized. Then, the key, she pressed. You said the key is in the Miller family estate? Yep, it's under that dry well in the backyard of the estate. The book says the key is a jade pendant, passed down through the Miller family, but it somehow fell into the well. The Millers searched for a long time, but couldn't find it, so they gave up. Just as I thought this, Sophia's phone rang. It was the caretaker of the old estate. Ms. Miller, bad news. A group of people came to the estate and said they're going to demolish the well in our backyard. Sophia's face instantly changed. Holy crap. Again, I was shocked. This isn't right. The book didn't say anyone was going to demolish the well. Is this another butterfly effect? No, we have to go check immediately. We can't lose the key to the estate. Sophia and I practically shouted at the driver in unison. Half an hour later, the car stopped at the entrance of the Miller family estate. It was an ancient, elegant Chinese courtyard, steeped in history. But at this moment, its tranquility was shattered. In the backyard, lights blazed, and a group of burly men in black suits were gathered around the dry well, preparing to start work. Leading them was a man wearing gold-rimmed glasses, who looked refined but had a sinister glint in his eyes. Stop! Sophia rushed in, shouting sharply. Oh, Ms. Miller is back. The bespectacled man pushed up his glasses, smiling without warmth. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Gordon Finch, legal counsel for Mr. Victor Shaw. Victor Shaw. That name again. The crooked businessman who, in the original story, had lucked into the rare earth mine in City South. Why is he here? And why is he after this well? I was filled with questions. Could it be he also knows there's something in this well? No way. He doesn't have a treasure map. What are you trying to do? Sophia asked coldly. Nothing. Gordon Finch spread his hands. Our client, Mr. Shaw, has already purchased this well, along with the land beneath it. Now, it's our private property. I don't think it's up to you to decide what we do with it, Miss Miller. What? Sophia was shocked. That's impossible. The deed to the estate has always been in my hands. When did I ever sell it to you? Ahem, Ms. Miller, don't forget. Gordon Finch chuckled. 3 years ago, your father, Robert Miller, owed our client a huge gambling debt. This deed was personally pledged to us by him. As he spoke, he pulled out a yellow deed and a gambling debt agreement signed by Robert Miller from his briefcase. Sophia felt like she'd been struck by lightning, staggering back 2 steps. Father. It was her father again. That gambling addict, how many messes had he left for this family? Damn it. So this is the trap? I finally understood. Victor Shaw, that old fox. He doesn't know there's a key in the well at all. He's just here to collect a debt. But if he demolishes the well and the key is exposed, with his shrewdness, he'll definitely figure something out. Then the treasure will have nothing to do with us. No, we have to stop him. So what if there's an agreement? I stepped forward, blocking Sophia. A debt is a debt. We'll pay it back. This land is not for sale. Gordon Finch looked at me like I was an idiot. Pay it back? Kid, do you know how much your father-in-law owes? He held up 5 fingers. 50 million, plus 3 years of interest. That's 100 million. Does your Miller family have 100 million in cash right now? He was confident that Sophia, having just come out of a business battle, had tight company funds and couldn't possibly raise that much money. Sophia's face, indeed, turned incredibly grim. 100 million was a huge burden for her right now. 100 million? Just for my priceless treasure? Dream on. It's just money, right? I have it. I sneered, pulled out my phone, and dialed a number right in front of everyone. Hello, David? Mr. Stone, what can I do for you? The respectful voice of the Rothschild representative came from the other end. Do me a small favor, I said casually. I need 100 million in cash delivered to the Miller family estate within half an hour. Also, help me dig up all the dirt on a guy named Victor Shaw. And remember, I want the kind of dirt that'll put him away for life. My voice wasn't loud, but it exploded like a thunderclap in the silent courtyard. Everyone was stunned. The smile on Gordon Finch's face completely froze. Fake it. Keep faking it. After a brief moment of shock, Gordon Finch let out a grating laugh. 100 million in cash? digging up dirt on Mr. Shaw. Kid, who do you think you are? Is this a movie? His strongmen also burst into laughter, their eyes full of mockery. In their eyes, I was just a useless idiot spouting unrealistic nonsense. Even Sophia looked at me with concern. She knew I had abilities, but mobilizing 100 million in cash in half an hour? That was beyond her comprehension. Laugh all you want, you frogs in a well. You have no idea the terrifying power represented by a simple favor I picked up from a book. David's family might be bankrupt, but a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. In European financial circles, their connections and influence are still top tier. Forget 100 million, even a billion would be a simple matter of a few calls for them. I ignored their mockery, merely glancing at my watch and saying blandly, 29 minutes left. Then, I pulled Sophia to sit on a stone bench in the courtyard, looking utterly relaxed, as if waiting for a good show. Time ticked by minute. Gordon Finch's face slowly shifted from mocking to somewhat grave, because I was too calm. That kind of calmness wasn't faked. It was the confidence of someone with nothing to fear. Could it be? He really had some incredibly powerful background. Impossible. Gordon Finch shook his head, pushing that absurd thought out of his mind. What kind of background could a Miller family live-in husband have? He must be bluffing, stalling for time. Kid, I like to see what tricks you pull in half an hour. Gordon Finch scoffed, patiently waiting. 20 minutes later, outside the courtyard, a tremendous roar suddenly echoed. Everyone was startled and looked towards the gate. A black helicopter circled in the night sky, its massive rotors whipping up a gale that made the trees in the courtyard sway violently. Then, a convoy of a dozen black armored vehicles, like steel beasts, instantly surrounded the entire Miller family estate. The car doors opened in unison, and over 100 bodyguards in black suits and sunglasses, exuding a chilling aura, poured out of the vehicles, completely encircling Gordon Finch and his men. The scene was more dramatic than any cop movie. Gordon Finch and his thugs had never seen such a display. They were terrified, their legs trembling, faces pale. As everyone watched in horror, the helicopter slowly descended. David, impeccably dressed in a tuxedo, white gloves, and looking like an aristocratic butler from the Middle Ages, respectfully approached me and bowed 90 degrees. Mr. Stone, the 100 million in cash you requested has been delivered. Behind him, 2 bodyguards carried a huge alloy case, which they set down with a clank. The case opened, revealing stacks of crisp, new banknotes, neatly arranged. The red glow stung everyone's eyes. Also, what you requested has been prepared. David handed me a tablet computer. The screen displayed all of Victor Shaw's dark secrets from recent years, official corruption, tax evasion, and even hiring hitmen. Every single piece of evidence was enough to put him away for life. The entire courtyard was dead silent. Everyone was frozen as if under a spell, staring blankly at me, as if I were a god. Gordon Finch fell to his knees with a thud, trembling like a leaf. Mr. Stone, I was wrong. I didn't know who I was dealing with. Please spare me. He kowtowed furiously, his forehead quickly bleeding. I couldn't even be bothered to look at him. I just walked to the case full of cash, picked up a stack of money, and walked over to Sophia. Honey, 100 million. Want to count it? I grinned, playfully tucking the money into her hand. Sophia stared at me blankly, then at the surreal scene before her. She felt like her heart was about to give out. She had always thought Alex was just a clever transmigrator. Now she realized how incredibly wrong she was. This man was more than just a prophet. He wielded a terrifying power capable of overturning all of Sterling City, and perhaps even higher echelons of society. Ugh, I really didn't want to make such a grand entrance. But there's always some idiot asking for a beatdown. My lazy bum life, it seems to be getting further and further away. I sighed internally, but my face showed a helpless, yet smug smile. In that moment, in Sophia's eyes, I saw an unprecedented glow. It was adoration, fascination, and complete surrender. Victor Shaw's downfall was even swifter than Leo Kingston's. Faced with irrefutable evidence, he didn't even have a chance to struggle. He was taken in for investigation that very night, and all his assets were frozen. The Sterling City business world was shaken once again, and I, the cause of it all, acted like nothing had happened. I directed the professional team sent by David to carefully retrieve the mud-caked, dragon-shaped jade pendant from under the dry well. The jade felt warm and smooth to the touch, with a subtle shimmer, clearly not an ordinary item. Done. Mission accomplished. I clapped my hands with satisfaction, handing both the jade pendant and the treasure map to Sophia. Honey, this is our family heirloom. Make sure you keep it safe. Sophia held the two items, which were enough to drive the world crazy, feeling like she was in a dream. From being forced into divorce, with her company on the brink of bankruptcy, to now holding an astonishing treasure and trampling two major wealthy families. All of this transformation was due to the man before her. She looked at me, her beautiful eyes shimmering, and softly asked, "Alex, how many more secrets are you hiding from me?" Secrets? Oh, there's so many. For example, I know this jade pendant isn't just a key. It's also a storage artifact containing its own spatial dimension. For example, I know that Heart of the Sierras will reappear on the black market in a few days, and we can snag it then. And for example, I know your younger brother, who went missing years ago, isn't dead. He was taken by an old monster from a reclusive sect to be his disciple, and he's now a martial arts grandmaster. He'll be back to find you soon. Then, our Miller family will truly be overflowing with talent, strong in both business and martial arts. These spoilers flashed through my mind. Sophia listened, her mind reeling, speechless for a long time. She realized that her understanding of this world was being completely overthrown by Alex. Little by little. Martial arts grandmaster? Reclusive sect. So, this world really had a hidden layer. And her younger brother, who had gone missing as a child and whom she and her grandfather had missed for over a decade. He was still alive. This news thrilled her even more than getting the treasure. Her eyes instantly welled up. "Thank you, Alex." This time, her gratitude was heartfelt. "Thank me for what? I don't know anything." I continue to play dumb. Sophia looked at my thick-skinned expression, both annoyed and amused. She didn't press further, just carefully put away the jade pendant and the treasure map. She knew that if this man didn't want to talk, asking more wouldn't help. She just needed to know he was by her side. That was enough. With Victor Shaw dealt with, my life returned to superficial peace. Every day, I accompanied Sophia to and from work, slacked off in the office, and occasionally, when she encountered difficult decisions, I'd guide her with my thoughts. Miller Corp, with my secret assistance, flourished, its stock soaring and quickly becoming the undisputed commercial powerhouse of Sterling City. And my relationship with Sophia also underwent subtle changes. She was no longer that cold, icy mountain. She would quietly tuck me in when I overslept. She remembered my preferences, telling the chef to cook my favorite dishes every day. She even secretly learned to play my favorite video game, just to have something to talk about with me. Although she totally sucked at it, and I'd tease her every time. "My God, how are you even worse than a bot? Left. Go left. You're hitting the wall, lady. It's over, you're gonna get me killed again." My glorious reputation. Every time Sophia heard my thoughts, her pretty face would flush crimson, and she'd chase me around in the game. But the next day, she'd still enthusiastically drag me into a co-op match. That feeling was strange. Without calculations of profit, without the barrier of status, we were like an ordinary couple, finding joy in mundane life. I even started to think that this kind of life wasn't so bad after all, much more interesting than being a couch potato alone. Until that day, I was napping in the office when Sophia suddenly burst in, looking panicked. "Alex, it's terrible, Grandpa." He suddenly collapsed. My heart sank. Here it comes, another critical turning point in the plot. Grandpa Miller, acute myocardial infarction. This is the signal for another major family, the Wilsons, to make a move on the Millers after the Kingstons' downfall. In the book, Grandpa Miller died from this attack, couldn't be revived. The Millers lost their only pillar of support, and that's how the Wilsons gradually devoured them. No, absolutely cannot let Grandpa die. Without a second thought, I grabbed Sophia and rushed out. To the hospital. Fast. When we arrived at the hospital, the emergency room light was glowing red. Brenda and a host of Miller relatives were gathered outside, weeping hysterically. "Dad, you can't leave us." It's over, it's over. If Grandpa's gone, what will happen to our Miller family? The attending physician walked out of the ER, took off his mask, and gravely shook his head. I'm sorry. We did everything we could. The patient's condition is extremely critical. There's widespread myocardial necrosis. Prepare for the worst. Boom! His words plunged the entire hallway into dead silence. Sophia swayed, almost collapsing. Brenda fainted outright. Bullshit, I roared in my head. What kind of quack doctor is this? An incompetent fool. Grandpa still has a chance. Western medicine is useless for his condition, but if I use our ancestors' 13 ghost gate needles, I can pull him back from the brink of death. Damn it, looks like I can't hide my incredible medical skills any longer. I no longer care about hiding. I shoved the doctor aside and burst into the emergency room. What are you doing? The patient needs peace and quiet, the doctor yelled behind me. I ignored him, walking straight to the bed. Looking at the old man on the bed, his face ashen, his breath shallow, I took a deep breath and pulled out a packet of silver needles I always carried. In this moment, I was no longer the playful, lazy live-in husband. My eyes became incredibly focused, sharp. My entire demeanor changed. Everyone get out. I turned to the stunned Sophia and the doctors, my voice cold. I can save him in half an hour. Nonsense. This is utter nonsense. The attending physician was trembling with rage. The patient is on the verge of death. What is an outsider doing here, interfering? If something happens, can you take responsibility? Security. Security. Get him out of here. Several security guards immediately rushed in, intending to restrain me. Stop them. Sophia suddenly spoke, her voice not loud, but filled with undeniable authority. She walked up to me, step by step, looking in my eyes, which were more serious and focused than she had ever seen them. She chose to trust him unconditionally. Let him treat him, she told the doctor. I will bear all consequences. Ms. Miller, are you insane? The doctor couldn't believe his ears. Sophia didn't explain further, just waved her hand, signaling everyone to leave. The ER door closed. Outside, everyone was buzzing, thinking Sophia and I'd lost our minds. Inside, I held my breath, my hands moving like lightning, precisely inserting silver needles into Grandpa Miller's major acupoints. Rinjong Shunting Bai Wei Chihai, the 13 ghost gate needles. Each needle could kill, and each could save. A hair's breadth of difference could mean life or death. Sweat beaded on my forehead, but my hands were as steady as a rock. As the last silver needle was inserted, Grandpa Miller's previously flatlining electrocardiogram suddenly fluctuated violently. Then, the almost straight line miraculously began to beat again, once twice growing stronger. Outside, it's been 25 minutes already. That bum still hasn't come out. Grandpa must be, a Miller relative said, looking tearful. Before she could finish, the ER door opened. I walked out, looking exhausted. How is he? Is my dad? Brenda asked nervously. I didn't speak, just gestured inside. Everyone looked in, confused. They saw Grandpa Miller, who had just been declared beyond hope, actually, sitting up in bed. Although his face was still pale, his eyes were clear, his breathing steady. He showed no signs of a dying man. Where am I? Grandpa Miller looked around blankly. The entire crowd froze, silent. Everyone stared, mouths agape, as if they'd seen a ghost. The attending physician rushed in, checking Grandpa with various instruments over and over, finally looking at the medical miracle report, muttering, Impossible. This isn't scientific. This is absolutely impossible. And I, under everyone's astonished gaze, walked up to Sophia and grinned. Honey, mission accomplished. Then my vision blurred, my body went limp, and I collapsed. Damn it. Overused the needles. Exhausted myself. That was my last thought before losing consciousness. The moment I fell, Sophia, without thinking, rushed over and hugged me tightly. She held me, feeling the warmth emanating from my body, looking at my pale face, strained from exhaustion. Her heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. It hurt, yet it felt tender and soft. Alex, for the first time, in front of everyone, she called out my name, losing her composure. Her voice carried a deep concern and affection that she hadn't even realized. In that moment, she finally understood. Somewhere along the way, this man had become an indispensable part of her life. He was her armor and her vulnerability. When I woke up, I found myself in a VIP hospital room. Sophia was asleep, slumped beside my bed. Tears still clung to her long eyelashes, making her look utterly vulnerable. I couldn't help but reach out, wanting to wipe them away. The moment my hand stirred, she woke up. "You're awake?" Seeing my eyes open, a surprised smile instantly bloomed on her face, brighter than the sunlight streaming through the window. "How do you feel? Is anything uncomfortable?" she asked nervously. "I'm fine." I shook my head, looking at her bloodshot eyes. "You stayed here the whole time?" She nodded. Then, as if remembering something, her cheeks flushed slightly, and she awkwardly lowered her head. "Oh, she's shy now." But the way she rushed over and hugged me just now was pretty cool. I thought happily. "All right, Grandpa?" I asked. "Grandpa's fine. He's resting in a room next door." "He wants to see you." "See me?" I blinked. Didn't he always look down on me? His useless grandson-in-law? Of course. He almost died, and I, his useless grandson-in-law, saved him. Anyone would be stunned. He probably wants to thank me in person and reintroduce himself to me, his hidden big-shot son-in-law. "Alex." Sophia suddenly looked at me very seriously. "This time, thank you." Here we go again. I pouted. I said we're husband and wife. No need for thanks. "No. I'm not thanking you for saving Grandpa." Sophia shook her head, her eyes burning with an intense heat, as if trying to melt me. "I want to thank you for appearing in my life. Without you, I can't imagine what I would be like right now." So, she took a deep breath, as if making a monumental decision. She suddenly leaned in, and to my astonishment, kissed my lips. Soft, sweet, with a hint of trembling. My mind buzzed, completely frozen. I just got kissed. This plot point wasn't in the book. After a long moment, our lips parted. Sophia's face was as red as a ripe apple. She looked at me, her beautiful eyes narrowed, glittering with a hint of slyness and possessiveness. "How many more surprises are hiding in that head of yours that I don't know about? From today on, I'm going to dig them all out, little by little." End.